This season, a cast of stars came together.
The only time we've ever been able to say the Olympic all-around gold medalist is competing in college.
We saw them shine under pressure.
Jade Carey is perfect!
And push the limits.
There it is! Oh my gosh!
We saw records break.
The highest score in Missouri school history.
Again and again.
Oh, Sturdy continuing to rewrite the record books!
We saw
Shine on, cause we're made from the stars.
time to put a spotlight on these stars.
Oklahoma doesn't play.
Their tenacity.
Ice water in her veins.
Their resiliency.
She is uncanny.
Their loyalty.
Crown her, crown the Golden Gophers.
All tested on the biggest stage.
Shine on, cause we're made from the stars.
You're watching the NCAA Championships on ESPN. Welcome to Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas for our live coverage of the 2022 NCAA Gymnastics Championships. This is semifinal one. The teams competing here today, the 8 best teams in the country in 2 separate semifinal sessions. Here is the championship bracket. We'll see right now Oklahoma, Utah, Alabama, and Minnesota. And then at 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2, we'll see Florida, Michigan, Auburn, and Missouri. Just the top 2 teams from each of those quad meets advance to the championship, which will be on ABC at 1 Eastern on Saturday. Hi, everybody. I'm Bart Connor, along with my fellow Olympic medalist, Kathy Johnson-Clark. And Kathy, this has been a record-setting season in NCAA gymnastics. The biggest crowds, the highest scores, the most spectacular performances. And the good news is there's so much parity now in collegiate gymnastics. Anybody can win.
Parity is indeed the buzzword here with these grade 8 teams so close in score potential. In this semifinal, Oklahoma is the closest to a sure thing to advance, but they can't afford counting a mistake. Number 4, Utah, they have a great rotation. They finish on balance beam, where we have seen them go lights out under immense pressure. They could be in the driver's seat, but my gut tells me fierce fight to the finish for those 2 spots.
How about a fight to a finish last year at the national championships? It came down to Oklahoma and Michigan in that final rotation. Olivia Troutman got a 9.9375 on floor in the anchor spot. And then came Michigan's Abby Heiskell. She needed a 9.85. She delivered a 9.925. Michigan posted the best team score in program history, 198.25, to edge out Oklahoma by less than 1/10 of a point. There is KJ Kindler. She, of course, has been head coach for 16 years at Oklahoma, the most dominant program in women's collegiate gymnastics over the last decade. Speaking of blue bloods in women's collegiate gymnastics, it's Utah. The Utah Utes are led by Tom Farden, the only team to qualify for every national championship. That's 46 in a row for Utah. And as you mentioned, they're number 4 in the country this year, poised to challenge for another title as well. Their last one came back in 1995. 4 great teams in this session, and for more, let's go down to Sam Pescick.
Yeah, thanks, Bart. Well, Alabama is a team that put their money where their mouth is. They have had lineup changes all season, and they've bragged about the amount of depth on their lineups, and they had to utilize it at regionals. And guys, they did not miss a beat. 2021 SEC all-around champion Luisa Blanco sprained her ankle, and they really had to lean on their depth. And they, like I said, had no problems there. Luisa is back training, and she'll be competing 3 events. So, Bart, I expect Alabama to be firing on all cylinders.
And one of the Cinderella stories of this championship, of course, is Minnesota. This is their 6th time at these championships, the first time ever back-to-back. And they're led by Anna Loper and Lexi Ramler, number 5 and number 7, all-around gymnasts in the country. So the stage is set for semifinal number 1. It's Oklahoma, Alabama, Minnesota, and Utah. Only 2 teams will advance to Saturday's championship. It's going to be great. Stay with us. We're live on ESPN2 at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. A reminder, you can watch every single routine streaming live on the ESPN app. Each event has its own channel with an announcer plus an all-around channel where you can watch all 4 events at once. Get this, we have Ashley Miles-Grieg on vault, Bridget Sloan on bars, Olivia Karras on beam, and John Roethlisberger covering floor. That is our stream team. Okay, in this first rotation, Oklahoma will be on the vault. In your upper left, that's Allie Stern. Alabama will be on the bars. Emily Gaskins will lead them off. That's in your upper right. In your lower left is Minnesota on the beam. Emily Cook leads them off. And on the floor, it's Abby Paulson for Utah in your bottom right. Here we go.
Allie Stern down the runway. This is Yurchenko, 1.5, a 10-0 start value. And wow, what a vault to start Oklahoma off on an event where they're ranked number 4 in the nation. Emily Gaskins on the uneven bars, a last-minute replacement on this event, and comes up with a huge routine for Alabama on the bars.
Alabama has a lot of depth. We had such Shania Adams in the lineup earlier, but after warm-ups, they put in Gaskins in place of Shania Adams.
And on balance beam, Emily Cock, this is the event, the make or break event for Minnesota. They have been inconsistent on this event, so they have got to be tight, focused, and sure on this event. Good start.
Minnesota only ranked 22nd in the country on beam. Every other event, as you mentioned, Kathy, in the top 10 in the country, so they'll need to be strong there.
Abby Paulson on floor exercise for Utah. Opens with a back 1.5 front layout. That was her middle pass. Excuse me, last pass. What a start for Utah. They are so strong on this event. I love their music choice, the choreography. They're ranked 4th in the nation.
Allie Stern for Oklahoma led them off, Kathy, with a 9.9375. Here's Kat Lavasser, second up for the Sooners.
Another 1.5 twist, as clean as can be in the air, but unfortunately so under-rotated. Big step back. At this point, that will be the score they look to drop.
Quick reminder on the format here, there are 6 athletes competing for each team in all 4 events. You count just the best 5 of those 6 towards the team score. Now there are 6 judges at these national championships. That is unique. No other meet during the year has 6 judges. They throw out the high and low score of those 6 and average the remaining 4. All 4 events will run simultaneously here. As you see on bars, it looks like Maddie Walagora is getting set to go. Emily Gaskins led off the Crimson Tide with a solid 9.8.
Maddie Walagora does an incredible bar dismount here, a full twisting, double backing, laid out position. It's the most difficult dismount on bars. She'll open with a giant blind. Nice, right on top of the bar into a straddle Jaeger. Beautiful amplitude, nice counter rotation before she regrasps the bar.
It's one of the best events for Alabama. They rank 3rd in the country here.
And here comes that dismount. It's in laid out position with a full twist.
Oh my.
Beautiful execution, a slight under rotation, so the hop forward. Jordan Bowers with a 1.5 twist. Very good comeback in this lineup for Oklahoma.
Important vault for the Sooners. Bowers is that phenomenal freshman, has had already a terrific year as an all-arounder for the Sooners. Kat Lavasser before her only a 9.65, so you're right. Important vault. Remember, 6 athletes go. You count just the best 5 towards the team total. Abby Paulson led off Utah on floor with a 9.85. That brings up Jaylene Gilstrap.
And this may be one of the most stunning routines you'll see in this competition. Beautifully choreographed. Look at the height on that double back. A big hop back into the lunge.
Strap, a sophomore from McKinney, Texas. There's so many young gymnasts in this competition today from Texas clubs coming home to compete.
The amplitude she shows on these passes are are extraordinary. She doesn't have the high level of difficulty, but look at the execution of her dance skills. Front layout, front full, little soft in the knees. That wasn't quite the way she wanted to perform that pass. But an elegant, gorgeous routine. I love
Impeccable
it.
artistry for Jaylene Gilstrap. Just a moment ago, Danielle Sievers for the Sooners coming after Jordan Bowers got a 9.875 on vault for the Sooners.
Another tenor start value here, 1.5. Really nicely done. Just brought her head forward a little too much at the landing and stepped forward.
Oklahoma has won 4 of the last 7 NCAA championships.
And has done so really on the strength on this event. They always put up those 10.0 start value vaults and are usually so clean, show incredible amplitude.
On the left there, you see gymnastics legend Maggie Nichols, who is a graduate assistant coach there for the Sooners. She herself a world medalist and NCAA all-around champion. This is great to see Olivia Troutman in the vault lineup. Kathy, 3 years in a row, she has struggled with injuries early in the season and only started competing at the midway point. And they have her back, and she is, looks like she may do all events today.
And she is tough as nails, physically and mentally, to step in during the season when it's the most intense. This is a great vault. Look at the block and the set. She waits before she wraps that 1.5 twist. Excellent technique.
She gets congratulations from Lou Ball there, husband of KJ Kindler. They together, along with their coaching staff, has been 16 years in charge of the program for the Sooners, setting and breaking every record. Cam Machado getting set to go for Alabama on the bars. You see her average at NQS, that's National Qualifying Score. That's calculated basically by taking your top 6 scores. 3 of them have to be from away meets. And you drop the highest score and average the 5 remaining. So she's averaged over 9.9 this year.
Cameron has 3 flight elements in this routine, transitions from bar to bar. That's how she gets a lot of the bonus points necessary to have that 10.0 start value. The first one's right here. A Maloney up to the high bar, back down to the low with a pack salto. And her third flight transition comes up right here, a Van Leeuwen.
Beautiful.
Oh, gorgeous work on that final cast handstand. Very clean on that full pirouette. Tuck double back, just a hop on the landing, slight deduction.
Looks like for the Sooners, they have a change in their lineup on the vault. This is Audrey Davis. They had Danae Fletcher set to go. Audrey Davis now gets the anchor spot. They have only one score of 9.9 or better, and that was Allie Stern's leadoff, 9.9375. Troutman a 9.875.
Big moment for Oklahoma here. She does a full. That's a 9.95 start value, but so cleanly executed. So that's the gamble they're taking. You have to determine whether you go for the harder start value vault, which is riskier, or do the clean full, slightly less start value, but do it as perfectly as possible.
We've seen many teams employ this strategy this year, changing their lineup. They all warm up 7 or 8 athletes on each event. So if there's an injury or a bit of a hiccup in the warm-up, they have athletes ready to go. And that's been a critical story all year long, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know everybody's excited about this. We've got Jade Carey coming up as an individual on vault.
Let's go down to Sam.
Danae Fletcher was supposed to anchor that vault lineup with Yurchenko 1.5, but she had been a little inconsistent, and after Kat Lavasser was low and a little under-rotated, they wanted to play it safe for score purposes by putting Audrey Davis in with that Yurchenko full.
Thank you, Sam. Jade Carey will vault now as an individual. This is how this works. The top 8 teams in the country are here, but the top all-arounder and individual event specialists from each of the 4 regions also qualified here. Now, Jade Carey represents Oregon State. They had an incredible year, but did not make it as a complete team. She's the #1 gymnast in the country in the all-around, so she today is competing for an individual national championship as we go to the quad box with others competing as well. Anna Loper on beam for Minnesota in your bottom left. Grace McCallum, her Olympic teammate, on the floor for Utah.
So 2
and
Olympians
Doggett on bars for Alabama.
going simultaneously, and there's a Yurchenko double twist. Very difficult vault.
Kathy, I saw Makari land her dismount in the warm-up. She was wincing in pain. She has a sore ankle.
Wow. You never would have known it there. She really handled that dismount. And you know it stung, because she does have a very, very sore ankle.
Alabama has had a lot of depth, and they're very proud of that. They have tested that this year.
Minnesota's scores on beam are in the 9.6 and 9.7 range. They really need 3 huge performances here. Good stick on that landing on beam.
All scores for Utah are 9.8 plus on floor.
What a special treat for NCAA fans to see side-by-side Olympians competing at the same time as freshmen. Grace's first pass is a full twisting double back. She opened the routine with this very high, excellent control on the landing, and looking for as perfect as possible on that combination pass. Finished very strong.
Kathy, you mentioned the Olympians. That's really been an added bonus. Women's college gymnastics is getting better and better every year. And this year, with the influx of Olympians who joined just after the Tokyo Olympics, and has raised the level of attention and focus on college gymnastics to new heights. It's been incredible to see the Suni Lee factor, the Jade Carey factor, the Grace McCallum factor, the Jordan Childs factor. So many of these great Olympic athletes normally would bypass college gymnastics. Nowadays, they're all about it, and it's very exciting.
Luisa Blanco on the bar. She is gorgeous on this event. Superb technique, form, perfectly straight legs, pointed toes, all of the little things that the judges could deduct for, and she is nearly flawless in every area. Just that hop on the landing, and that is on an ankle that she injured at SEC Championship. So for her to be able to control that landing as well as she did, good for her.
We go from one superb performer to another. Here's Miley O'Keefe coming after Grace McCallum. Got Utah's highest score over there, a 9.9375.
And talk about pristine form. Look at the form on this pike double back. She did have a hop back, stayed in bounds. For no deduction, the gymnast must land those tumbling passes on 2 feet in control and step into the lunge without moving the front foot. Beautifully executed leaps. Difficult combination pass here, back 1.5, front full, well done. There's the controlled landing for no deduction.
Awesome.
Beautifully performed routine.
If she gets a 9.85, Utah could take the lead over Oklahoma, who had a 49.35 on vault in that first rotation. Oklahoma typically scores significantly higher on vault, but so far, Kathy, we're seeing the scores are quite modest here for all the teams. Utah is the one who is the best scorer so far on floor. Let's go to Sam.
Well, 90% of Minnesota's routines have been here last year, but head coach Jenny Hansen reminded me that it's a little different this year with all of the fans. So if you add that excitement and the fact that they're starting on balance beam, which is a really difficult event to start on, that's probably why we're seeing some nervous mistakes from them over on beam. But Lexi Ramler is, of course, up next, and I think we're going to expect a treat from her.
Oh, you're right about that. Look at that beam NQS, 9.96. She's ranked 5th in the NCAA. And this routine, Kathy, is just nothing short of spectacular.
Yeah, she is a queen on the balance beam. She is so calm and confident. Her training on this event is just magnificent. All of the basics are so perfect. So you will see every time that foot comes off the beam, it is pointed. Every time she is in the air, those legs are perfectly straight, extended. In the leap, she'll see the full splits. Even in the acrobatic element, she maintains pristine form.
Abby Nyland just before her scored a 9.8. And on floor, that's Sydney Solosky coming after Miley O'Keefe, got a 9.8875.
And she shot out of the gates into that tumbling run, double layout. Acro series on beam, well executed, very solid. Difficult jump on beam, the ring jump with the head back. Great routine by Lexi Ramler, not a surprise.
Solosky on floor for Utah, the graduate student from Canada. Specializes on this event.
She is just one of the many spectacular floor routines we have in this national championship. These semifinals will showcase some of the best routines we have seen on floor exercise, and that's a good one by Sydney Solosky.
So you see the scores up there on your bottom right part of the screen. Utah has surged into the lead after that score from Miley O'Keefe, so whatever they can get from Sydney Solosky could perhaps even add to that. Oklahoma with that 49.35, 1/10 of a point lower than their season average on vault. There's only 2 scores of 9.9 or better in this opening rotation. I think that's partly the effect of having 6 judges. Because when you get to the national championship, it is different than regular season, right, Kathy? 6 judges with a high amount of scrutiny because they're about to determine national champions here.
And it's not just that. Everybody talks about it. This first session, and particularly first event, the judges are also warming up. They also have 2 full meets to judge.
And another 9.9375 for the superb Lexi Ramler for Minnesota. And boy, did they need that over on beam. This is Serena Linton from Arizona. How exciting to see her here competing as an individual. She is coached by Taylor Spears, the former Oklahoma Sooner, who herself was a national beam champion.
She opened with a beautiful and very difficult double wolf turn. Triple series there, very solid. Kennedy Hambrick on floor exercise for Arkansas. qualified last year as an individual. So wonderful to see her back here in that role.
Back to back in all around.
Wow, what a beam routine! How exciting. Little off on that middle combination pass.
Hambrick, the senior from Pearland, Texas, rotating with Utah today. She's competing in the all-around as an individual with Raina Worley, Jade Carey, and Nora Flatley.
Ends with a high double backs, really deep landing in the knees. Looked like she just ran out of gas just a bit at the end.
There is Jordan Weber, her coach, the head coach at Arkansas, herself a world and Olympic champion, and doing a superb job with that program. They did not qualify as a full team, so Hambrick here as an individual. So Utah with a 49-475 will have the lead after the first of 4 rotation. Kathy, there were several highlights in that rotation.
And the first piece of gymnastics right out of the gates was one of the best, a 1.5 twist by Allie Stern. Started Oklahoma off with a perfectly stuck vault.
That was their highest score, was their leadoff vaulter.
And Luisa Blanco, gorgeous as ever, showcased her fantastic technique, amplitude, pristine form. And the beam queen, Lexi Ramler, came out with a big routine for Minnesota, as she often has done throughout her career.
Their only 9-9 plus score on beam for Ramler. And then Grace McCallum for Utah on floor.
High flying, tumbling, difficulty. That's an E pass, that full twisting double back. And great control. Great start to her all-around competition here as she helps Utah try to grab that second spot.
All right, well, that wraps up the first of 4 rotations here. When we come back, we'll talk about the Oklahoma Sooners. They've been relying a lot on their depth. We'll hear about it when we come back.
Being in and out of the lineups, just seeing my teammates step up has honestly been an incredible feeling. Michigan was a great team last year. They're a great team this year. And we kind of just use that as fuel to our fire, just knowing that the margin was so close last year. We kind of just kept pushing ourselves and paying attention to the details.
I think having the depth in our lineups is incredible because we are always ready. They're always working on the side. And success for Oklahoma means to do better than our last competition and really strive for our routines.
Confidence comes from knowing what we can do and just putting that out there and knowing that we have it under our belt.
It's really a team effort. 11 people will be competing toward a common goal. Last year was a heartbreaking loss for us, but on some levels we really felt it was a big win for us. We really had a tough year and the adversity really had a good effect on us. So that second place finish really felt like a win for us. And I don't know that it was as heartbreaking as it may have appeared from the outside.
The Oklahoma Sooners have been solid. You can see they're in the top 5 in all 4 events. And the next one they're headed to is the Bars. They're the #1 team in the country, and they're trailing Utah right now by .125 as they head into the second rotation. Now, when we get back, we'll have the #2 team in the country on the floor, the Minnesota Golden Gophers. They're currently in 4th place. First, we'll hear from the team about their historic season.
It's huge to be back here for 2 years in a row. It means that, we belong here. That's the goal. And we are here to make a statement. This team has been so much fun from the beginning. They're a really committed group. They love gymnastics.
I'm feeling really excited going into this weekend. I think having this extra year has really just made me really grateful for it. I think it kind of just like helped take the pressure off.
It means so much. So many alumni have come forward in this program and really set the foundation for Minnesota. And so it means so much to be a part of that. Having back-to-back appearances, I think it just shows how much we've been growing and developing.
Having Maya on floor, it's been huge, you know. She's just someone you can't take your eyes off of. She commands your attention, but also the message that she sends in that floor routine.
My inspiration was Beyonce was my inspiration, and we just wanted to convey a message. I want everyone to take something away from it and like change. It's important because I want everyone to know how I'm feeling, and so when I put my fists up, I feel free. That was the goal of my whole routine. I wanted little girls that look like me to not be afraid to go out there and do their thing.
A reminder, you can watch every single routine streaming live on the ESPN app. There's our stream team. We have Ashley Miles Grieg on vault, Bridget Sloan on bars, Olivia Karras on beam, and John Roethlisberger on floor. I think they're having more fun than we are.
I'm sorry,
Kathy.
they're having way too much fun. We got to step it up.
All right, in this rotation, here is the quad box. Miley O'Keefe in the upper left will vault for Utah. In the upper right on bars, it's Danielle Sievers getting set to go. In your bottom left on the beam, it is Alabama's Ella Burgess. And in your bottom right on the floor, it is Emily Cook from Minnesota. Remember, Minnesota, #2 team in the country on this event. They're in 4th place. They need a strong performance here.
All 4 of these are terrific lead-off performers for their team. Miley O'Keefe open with a really well-done full twisting Rodchenko.
Top 2 teams all separated by a half a point here after one rotation. We expect this will come down to the wire. Remember, only 2 of these 4 teams will advance to Saturday's championship final on ABC.
On bars, that is a superb routine with a perfectly stuck landing to start Oklahoma off.
They are the #1 team in the country here.
Ella Burgess, one of the most comfortable, confident beam performers in this leadoff position. She has embraced this unique pressure in a way that proves pressure is indeed a privilege. She smiles from start to finish.
She missed 2021. She was out with an Achilles injury. She has been a significant contributor this year in 2022.
Has done her job spectacularly well.
Alabama, the 5th-ranked team in the country on the beam. Lucy Stanhope will be the next vaulter for Utah. Miley O'Keefe led them off with a 9.825.
This is a Rodchenko 1.5. Watch the distance she can get from the table. One of the 2 parts of amplitude is height and distance, and she gets so much travel from the table. She did take that hop, so that'll be a deduction.
Let's go on Sam Pescic.
If you guys look closely at the Utah coaches, they're wearing red bracelets that say choices. They were all given them at the beginning of the season, and it's been a theme. You choose to stay in the moment, you choose to wake up and work hard, and head coach Tom Farden, I asked, what was the choice on vault here? And he said, we're going to choose to be aggressive, and it looks like they're getting the job done.
Well done. Last year they finished 3rd, less than 0.3 of a point from an NCAA title. As we go now to the bars, Kat Levasseur up for the Sooners. Danielle Sievers led them off with a 9.9.
Look at the handstand positions. She is straight as an arrow with flawless form and the dismount. Oh my gosh, they are throwing down the gauntlet. They are showing exactly why they are #1 on this event. Superb work.
So the score came in there for Emily Cook for Minnesota on floor. A solid 9.85 to lead them off. Jaden Rucker now for Utah.
1.5 twist.
Oh, wow! That was amazing.
I think she chose to stick.
How about that?
Wow.
She's coming after Lucy Stanhope, had a 9.85. Expect a big score.
It's like, I'll see your stick,
Oh,
Oklahoma
my
on
goodness.
bars, and raise you one. Coming right back at them.
How about that? Even Jimmy Pratt, the first-year assistant, formerly with Denver, is celebrating that one. Wow. Utah with the lead, and they're looking good so far on vault. 3 solid hits.
Well, you just felt this huge momentum shift for both Utah and Oklahoma. They are stepping it up.
Remember, Utah just had to put the pressure on to get through to these championships. We covered them at the regional final, and it came down to the last couple of beam routines to see if they were even going to be here. And now doing a terrific job leading this session. For the bars will be Olivia Troutman coming up for the Sooners.
Amazing to see her in this lineup. She has not been in the uneven bars.
Kat Levasseur before her, 9.9375. Sooners are hot over here.
Talk about a wake-up call to the judges right here. They are throwing it down on bars, aggressively swinging through these routines, nailing the handstand position. Double layout, love the lift and amplitude. Wow.
Unreal how she can come in at the midway point every year after dealing with some injury and then just money every time, Kathy. Moments ago now for Utah, Lexi Birch coming after Jaden Rucker, got a 9.9625.
Fifth-year senior here.
Oh, another one.
She finessed that landing. I thought it was going to come up a little short, and she just stayed calm and no movement.
Utah has the lead, and they are pouring it on vault. This is typically not one of their best events.
They have to capitalize on those landings. They don't have the big amplitude on some of their vaults, but they're doing 10-0 vault, start value, and sticking.
In the last couple of years, if they've lost any ground to the top teams, it has been on vault. They are hot over there now, and that brings up the Olympian, Grace McCallum.
Watch this vault, half on out of the round off, and front half off, and look at the landing.
I think we need to get those red bracelets. That's pretty good stuff. Lexi Birch had a 9.925 before her. Good scores. Lexi Graber for Alabama on beam. Their scores over there are Ella Burgess's 9.8875. Shallon Olsen 9.725.
Shallon had a little trouble on her acro series, had a leg lift balance break. So they will hope to drop that score.
The regional, Shallon led them off with a 9.95 on it. Lexi Ramler on floor in your bottom right for Minnesota after Gianna Guerres at a 9.875.
Love that
Getting
pass.
set to go on the bars up in the upper right. Reagan Smith for the Sooners.
That pass on floor was beautiful. Back 1.5 through to a double twist. Lexi Graber is solid as can be on beam. Another perfect handstand there for Oklahoma on bars, and a double layout with just a slight scoot forward on the landing.
Reagan Smith, also a product of Texas clubs. So many of these young athletes come out of Texas and go off to other schools. It's good to see them all back home competing successfully.
Wow, what a routine. Great job by Lexi Graber.
In the upper left, that was the final vault for Utah. That was Cammie Hall coming after Grace McCallum had a 9.8625.
Really nice job on that floor routine. Love the music, the dramatic music, the choreography. Really well done. Difficult combination pass, one of the most difficult in the country. 1.5 twists through to a double twist. Very clean. Back 1.5 front layout, showing off that technique and form that she is known for.
Jordan Bowers now set to go for the Sooners on bars. Olivia Troutman at a 9.875. A high score for Oklahoma over there so far. Kat Levasseurs 9.9375. Let's go to Sam.
Each meet, Oklahoma has picked a different celebrity figure to pull inspiration from, and today's meet was Baker Mayfield, and they actually got to FaceTime with him last night. And I just spoke to Olivia Troutman and asked if anything he said spoke to her, and she said, he said to wake up feeling dangerous. They knew it was an early competition, so she's really had that in mind here throughout the competition so far. And I don't know about you guys, but they look dangerous to me.
Absolutely. Well, Baker Mayfield, of course, the Oklahoma quarterback, football star, Heisman Trophy winner, and now in the NFL.
And these are dangerously good handstands in this routine. They are so aggressive. Beautiful swing into this dismount. Full twisting double back, almost held on to a perfect stick. Had to take that step into her salute to the judges, but well done, wow. I'm so impressed with both the calm and fierceness in their attack of these routines. The confidence is through the roof.
Saturday, it's the NCAA Women's Gymnastics National Championship. We'll cover that one on ABC at 1 p.m. Eastern. You don't want to miss that. Just the top 4 teams from the 8 teams competing in today's semifinal action. We're live now here in Fort Worth, and then on ESPN2 again tonight. We'll be live at 6 p.m. Eastern to cap off individual national champions, as well as the 4 teams that will advance to Saturday's championship round. Audrey Davis set to go now for the Sooners. You're right, Kathy. They have been fierce here, and somehow seems like KJ Kindler figures out a way to get her team dialed in for postseason. They have been one of the most dominant teams in the last decade.
Absolutely. Their recipe works. And I'm sitting here in anticipation for this uneven bar routine. Audrey Davis. There's probably only one other bar routine, Jordan Childs, in the country who does the difficulty in the routine, and so technically superior on top of it. She has unique elements in this routine.
Davis, the sophomore from Frisco, Texas, did her club training at the World Olympic Gymnastics Academy, which is home to people like Nastia Luque.
So watch this combination, giant. This is a Higgins turn. She's in inverted. Wow.
My.
That may be the hugest single bar release she has done all season long. She flies through this routine and nails that half pirouette on low bar.
On the right for Alabama on the beam, it's Lily Hudson coming after Shania Adams, who was pulled out of the bar lineup, just delivered a 9.9.
I'm sorry, I had to gasp, Bart. That double front half was the best I have seen her perform this routine. Actually, it was stellar. Shania Adams had a phenomenal, I was peeking out of the corner of my eye watching her on beam, and it was superb to earn that 9.9.
On floor for Minnesota now after Allie Remlinger got a 9.9, their high score. This is Anna Loper, one of their superstar all-arounders, currently ranked 7th in the country in the all-around in Minnesota.
I love this strong, dynamic music choice. Oh no! They stumble back on the dismount. Oh, that's a shame because they are really coming on strong on beam. But unfortunately, they're going to have to count a slightly lower score.
You see in your bottom right there, Utah has the lead with a solid 98.9. Oklahoma just slightly behind, but they don't yet have the score in for Audrey Davis. Jordan Bowers, one of the 299s for the Sooners there. Davis's score comes in.
Back 1.5 to front layout.
Davis's score is a 9.95 for the Sooners. And that moves them into the lead by 125 ten-thousandths of a point over Utah here at the halfway point. Now, Alabama has yet to complete beam, and Minnesota yet to complete floor. Here is Jade Carey competing as an individual in the all-around.
Who I would also put up in that top echelon for difficulty on this event. Maloney to a full twisting pack salto called a bahardwaj. Anna Van Leeuwen back up to high bar. Lots of good flight transitions showing the difficulty she needs to be one of these top scores on this event. Just a slight scoot back on her full twisting double back.
And on your right on beam for Alabama, that is Luisa Blanco, last year's SEC Gymnast of the Year. The national champion here. Has been dealing with an ankle injury for the last month. We only saw her at the regionals in one event. She did the bars, expecting to do 3 events here.
Triple series here. Back handspring to 2 layout, step out, solid. Just a slight correction with the arms.
Kathy, it was on her beam dismount at the SECs where she had a cramp and she sprained her left ankle.
Amazingly,
she's adjusted her routine.
She actually had a cramp throughout the whole routine. She was trying to work through it.
And on floor for Minnesota, this is Maya Hooten on a loper before her 9.8775.
One of the most impressive, entertaining, exciting routines on floor exercise. Here's Luisa's adjustment to the routine. The dismount will be a side aerial full instead of the double twist dismount.
All right.
And wow, what a finish. Superb.
And they needed a hit there. Lily Hudson before her, only a 9.6 for the Crimson Tide. Let's sit back and enjoy Maya Hooten, one of the most talked about floor routines of the year, Kathy.
Absolutely. The message right here, that fist goes up, she is free, and sending a message to all the little girls out there that look like her to feel the power, to feel their specialness. High tuck double back.
All right.
Absolutely wonderful.
Maya Hooten scored 3 10s on floor exercise this year. The whole team scored a total of 6 10s.
All year long, she has sent this message to the world about social justice, racial justice, empowering women, black women, showing off their excellence, and she has been such an exciting part of NCAA gymnastics.
Sophomore from Woodbury, Minnesota, getting congratulations from their superb coaching staff, Jenny Hansen, Geraldine Stack-Eaton. This is Skyla Schulte from Michigan State. By the way, Luisa Blanco's score for Alabama, the last score, 9.9375. Fantastic for the Crimson Tide, and they needed a big score there. Kathy, let's talk about Skyla Schulte. We saw Michigan State at the regionals, and they were so much fun. The best year in program history, came up just short of competing here as a full team. But what a year they had.
But the season they had, this team just captured my heart, my spirit, because of what they demonstrated. It's what NCAA gymnastics is all about right now, the parity. These teams up and coming, no, they didn't quite make it to nationals, but they were fantastic and so fiercely competitive. It came down to the final routine, and Skyla Schulte was just a rock star in the all-around, doing a superb job here.
Speaking of all-arounders, Jay Mack from Illinois State on the floor now, competing here as an individual. He's the second Illinois State individual to qualify for the NCAA championships, and second in as many years. Angelica Labat qualified on vault last year. Jay Mack competing here only on floor. What a great moment for this program at Illinois State.
And such an exciting routine to watch. Run through, to tuck double back, great control.
Let's go down to Sam Peshek. She's with KJ Kindler.
KJ, you guys were stick contagious on bars. What'd you think?
I was really happy with the way they executed on the bar as well as their landings. It's always our goal to try to hit 4, and we did that today, so very excited.
Looks like you started the meet comfortable. What are you hoping to see from them on the last 2 events?
Honestly, just settling in, calming down, and doing what they know how to do.
Thank you.
All right, a lot of highlights in that rotation, Kathy. How about Kat Lavasser for the Sooners? They were spectacular on the bars. Were they the #1 team in the country?
Beautiful work on the uneven bars, from their swing to their handstand positions to dialing in those 4 perfectly stuck landings, and Audrey Davis capping it off with one of the most extraordinary bar routines in the NCAA.
She has the high score today on that event so far, 995.
And what a vault rotation for Utah. They had so many sticks.
It's one of the best vault rotations I've ever seen for the Utah Utes.
As I said, they capitalized on exactly what they needed to do on that event, and that was find those landings. And Maya Hooten showing us all why she has been the talk of NCAA gymnastics on this event. So fun to be here and see it in person.
All right, coming up after the break, we'll take a look at Alabama looking for redemption after just missing out on last year's championship final.
50 years of Title IX. 7 years after Title IX was announced, Sarah Patterson was hired to be the 5th coach of Alabama gymnastics. In the first 5 years of the program, Patterson turned the struggling program into one of the premier women's collegiate gymnastics teams in the country, reaching 32 consecutive NCAA championships and taking the title 6 times. She marketed not only her team, but the sport of women's gymnastics to build interest and increase recruiting, helping to make the sport more popular and well-known in a region of the country dominated by college football. Patterson also led her team in numerous philanthropic endeavors in the local community and was one of the first coaches to hold meets raising money and awareness for specific causes.
And how great to see Sarah Patterson in the crowd today here to cheer on the Crimson Tide. She's not only one of the great gymnastics coaches in history, she's one of the great coaches in all of women's sports history. What a legend. Good to have her here. Of course, her successor is her former gymnast, Dana Duckworth, who's in her 8th year leading the Crimson Tide. And they're hoping to make it back to the final round after missing out last year by 25 thousandths of a point. The Crimson Tide just getting aced out in that final rotation. Wow! Alabama's season's come to an end.
Last year, it was bittersweet to be that close. At the same time, it is an opportunity to use the disappointment for greatness.
Let's go, have some fun.
A big motivation for us was obviously we didn't want to feel like that again, and we just felt like we had so much more in us.
Postseason, you can put so much pressure on yourself to, show the world what you're capable of.
We have an amazing team, amazing potential, and even though that comes with a lot of pressure, pressure's a privilege.
If I was able to help Alabama make it to the finals, I would feel like it's a dream come true.
We know it's going to come down to every 10th, and we will fight to the very end.
I have no doubt that we're going to get the job done this weekend.
And Alabama will be on the floor when we come back and get set for the third rotation. Alabama 0.4 of a point behind Utah. They'll need a great performance here if they want to move on. Welcome back to Dickies Arena here in Fort Worth. I'm Bart Connor along with Kathy Johnson-Clark and Sam Pescic. So we're at the halfway point in this competition. Utah led after the first rotation. The Oklahoma Sooners, after that outstanding performance on bars, has surged into the lead, but just by 25 thousandths of a point over Utah, who was awesome on the vault. There's our stream team, folks. John Roethlisberger covering floor, Olivia Karras on beam, Bridget Sloan on bars, Ashley Miles Grieg on vault. Remember, you can watch every single routine on the ESPN app. I'm sure they're having fun up there, and I would tune in there if I could. I'm a little busy here right now. All right, there's the quad box, and let's update everyone on where we are. Minnesota is in the upper left there on vault. Their first vaulter will be Gianna Gerdes. On the upper right, that is Utah on the bars. Amelie Morgan, the British Olympian, will be first up for the Utes. On beam, it's Jenna Dung for Oklahoma in the bottom left. And on floor for Alabama in your bottom right, that is Shalyn Olsen, the Canadian Olympian for the Crimson Tide.
And these are big routines to open up these rotations. Very difficult skill there on the uneven bars, a full twisting pack salto. Triple series here on beam. Very solid. Shalyn Olsen on the floor exercise. Some of the most difficult tumbling in the country. That step on the landing on vault. This is an event. Minnesota is ranked 8th in the country. When you're trying to come from behind, those sticks are all important. Terrific start for Oklahoma on beam. A little too far forward on that landing. She didn't move her feet, but her chest was pretty far down, so it'll be a slight deduction.
Shalyn Olsen from Alabama, known for doing some of the more difficult routines in collegiate gymnastics. She can do every trick in the book.
Absolutely, and does them easily. Front through to pike double back. She opened with a full twisting double back in pike position. And that's her easy stuff.
How many Olympians we have in collegiate gymnastics this year is just so exciting. Adding a whole nother layer of quality to collegiate gymnastics, which is already pretty darn good. Talk about pristine performers. Lexi Ramler is sort of, even Jenny Hansen told us the other day, the head coach at Minnesota, she and Anna Loper have really defined Minnesota gymnastics, and their execution and quality of performance has raised everyone up there.
It's especially fun to watch her on vault, which is a dynamic event, but she does this vault so elegantly. Oh, didn't quite get the landing on this. We've seen her stick that perfectly so many times throughout her career. Did not quite get the landing here, but the vault was quite pretty in the air.
More Olympians. Amelie Morgan had a 9.875 for Utah. That brings up Grace McCallum, Kathy.
Big combination here. Maloney to the pack salto, legs glued together. I love the way she has perfected this form. Only a slight teeny tiny separation on that Van Loon. Her feet just came apart just a teensy bit. Oh, and a deep knee bend, unfortunately, on the landing of her dismount. They'll have to take a deduction now.
McCallum, a two-time world champion team member with the U.S. team, and of course member of the 2020 Olympic silver medal team for the United States.
And that was just a missed opportunity there, because we've seen her score a 10 on that routine. Right. She had a great one going and could not quite finish it with a strong dismount landing.
Oklahoma's leadoff beam was Jenna Dunn from Oklahoma City, a 9.7875. Here's Olivia Troutman,
who happened to just open with the same beam mount I did back in the day.
All right.
Interesting.
Throwback skills, Kathy. Well done.
Once we lay out, step out. Extremely confident, so solid.
Interesting that Oklahoma, 58% of their routines in competition come from freshmen and sophomore. And beam is the event where they actually have the most seniority.
Front toss. Well, I don't know what the secret is. It has to be ice water in the veins here, because she is able to compete so consistently.
Oh my goodness.
Having not competed much all season long, it's a rare and beautiful thing.
Knee tendonitis this year had held her back. In previous years, it was foot injuries. And yet, whenever she gets the call, she's there. Maya Hooten now moments ago for Minnesota on ball.
1.5 twist. Really nicely done in the air. Hop on the landing. But every other part of that ball was really well done.
That was their high score so far over there for the Golden Gophers, 9-9 for Hooten. Maddie Quarles.
Another 1.5 twist, a big step forward. It's more of a deduction when it's a step forward and a larger step than that little hop. Giant full to the tuck double back, a hop back.
Abby Paulson finishing up on bars there for the Utah Utes. Grace McCallum, 9.725 after that slight stumble on the landing. Remember, Utah coming into this rotation just 25 thousandths of a point behind Oklahoma here at the halfway point. Let's go to Sam.
Yeah, Griffin James for Alabama was actually supposed to be in that 2 spot coming into the meet today, but they switched it to Maddie Wallagora. Head coach Jana Duckworth said that Griffin was having a little bit of trouble adjusting to the floor, and Maddie was on fire. It was a good choice. She had a great routine, and they're going to need more of that firepower to play catch up here.
Good point, Sam. Maddie Wallagora did get a 9.875. Here's Emily Gaskins. I know you love this routine, Kathy.
She has so much dance training that it really shows up in this choreography. A little bit of a slide back into that lunge on the double layout. Watch this difficult turn, leg up turn, right into a wolf full. Wow, good strong finish there.
Sage Thompson for Utah on bars after Abby Paulson got them a 9.815.
Nice combination there. The Maloney to the in-bar Ginger. Good difficulty, beautiful form and execution.
Oh,
and
yeah.
A stick on the landing. Boy, did she milk that and show that stick off.
Utah, the number 6 team in the country on bars. Emily Cook now on vault for Minnesota.
A tucked 1.5 twist, a tidy little vault that's worth a 10.0 start value. They'll take off for that step and maybe a little lack of distance from the table.
Minnesota has 3 scores in a 9.8 plus range. Maya Hooten is their high score over there on vault with a 9.9. Audrey Davis getting a couple of notes there from KJ Kinlan. Let's go to Sam.
Yeah, KJ jokes with Audrey Davis that she should actually sleep with a weight to help with her landings, because sometimes her landings, her arms get a little bit loose. She actually brought that 5-pound weight here to the competition today. KJ said, I didn't tell her to do that, but it's mostly symbolism. And guys, she stuck that dismount on bars cold, so let's see if she can do it again here on beam.
That's terrific.
Well, so far on beam, they have the one score they'd like to drop. Their opening routine was only a 9.7875, but came back. Olivia Troutman, that 9.9125. And Kat Lavasser, a 9.9. So Audrey Davis is set up perfectly here to show off her beautiful flexibility, unusual poses and balance.
Oklahoma, the third-ranked team on beam in the NCAA.
Watch the beautiful execution and form on balance beam.
On the left, that's Miley O'Keefe mounting the bars for Utah after Sage Thompson got their high score 9.9.
Just a little leg separation on those two skills on the uneven bars. Other than that, straight legs, pointed toes. And a gorgeous Arabian double front dismount from Miley O'Keefe. Audrey Davis moving so smoothly, effortlessly performing skills with gorgeous flexibility, technical precision. Let's see if she can get this stick where the weights not quite needed, a little bit more pressing down, that needed that weight to get that perfectly stuck landing.
Remember, give her 7.5 pounds to carry next time. That was pretty clean.
That was a great routine. There were so many special pieces of gymnastics in that beam routine.
In many ways, Davis is sort of the quintessential Oklahoma gymnast. That's the type of athlete that KJ Kindler goes out of her way to recruit. Athletes with that impeccable form and execution. And I think that's been a key to their success in the last decade, is superb execution.
Absolutely. They bank on that. And then KJ Kindler does a beautiful job of creating unique choreography, not just on floor exercise, but also on balance beam. And they really perform those routines.
You can see on the bottom right there, Minnesota with a 147.725 is leading. Now that's because they were on vault and the vaults are complete, so all of their scores are in. Vault goes the fastest, and so we do not have all the scores yet for the other events. Minnesota was in fourth place coming into this rotation. Crystal Issa now up for Utah after Miley O'Keefe got the second 9.9 in a row for Utah on bars.
Showcasing her straight body cast to handstands into that ray.
Oh, nice.
Really hit that bail handstand right in that vertical position. Oh, giant vault. Boy, did she pull that out of nowhere into the double layout. She had to hop on the landing, but good for her because she saved what could have been disastrous.
Lily Hudson on floor now in the bottom right for Alabama. All their scores are 9.85 and above. Good job for the Crimson Tide here in this rotation.
Excellent event for Alabama. They're ranked 7th in the country.
Starting beam on the left there, that's Carly Woodard for the Oklahoma Sooners. Woodard, the Big 12 Event Specialist of the Year.
We have seen Carly Woodard pull out just extraordinary beam routines under pressure.
Audrey Davis before her, 9.8625.
Front toss to big jump. Watch this tumbling pass here on the right. Double back, good control on the landing. Strong routine, good comeback for Lily Hudson. Had a little trouble on balance beam. Good to see her recover and come back strong here. Beautiful execution on those leaps and jump. Just the dismount here, side aerial to a full twist. And I could have called the stick. She has come up with that so many times.
Interestingly, Sooners have put together another team that could challenge for a championship. They're replacing 25% of their scores from last year's team. Of course, gymnastics fans will remember Anastasia Webb, one of the top all-arounders, national champion last year, who helped lead the Sooners. It's a much younger team this year, but once again, a legitimate contender coming into these national championships ranked #1. This will be Lexi Graber. Keeping it loose on the sidelines. The reigning NCAA floor exercise champion. Kathy, interesting story about her, how she decided to take that graduate year because of COVID. After last year's national championship, right after she won, what did Dana say?
Well,
are you coming back?
Are you coming back? Yeah.
Well, here she is. Graduate student for Alabama and a treat to watch on floor, Lexi Graber. Lily Hudson before 9.9125.
This routine is wonderful choreography. She has great musicality. I watched her do 2 dance throughs yesterday in training, just perfecting every single piece. The choreography, putting full energy. Alabama has a great opportunity here. Utah opened the door just a little. They have 2 scores in the 9-7, so they'll have to count one of those.
On the left now, that's Reagan Smith mounting the beam for Oklahoma after Carly Woodard scored a 9.9125 over there. They have 3 scores for the Sooners on beam, 9.9 plus.
Beautiful footwork into those leaps on floor. Not giving up any tenths of a point here on this floor exercise routine. Reagan Smith, back handspring layout, solid. And a huge pike double back, strong finish. I love the nod of the head there at the end of that routine. Love this combination here. Straddle half into the back handspring, swing down. Seeing some really excellent beam work here.
Reagan Smith, also from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Louisville, Texas. And a U.S. national team member.
Very successful internationally. Well known for her beam work. Back handspring to a nice high gainer full. Wow.
#1 in the country on that event, and she delivers. What a rotation for the Sooners. 3 scores, 9.9 plus. The low score will be dropped at 9.785. The Sooners, with the lead coming into this rotation, will extend it a little bit. They're already in the lead as Utah is finished on bars. Their final bar performer, Crystal Issa, had a 9.7. So Oklahoma will have the lead after 3 of 4 rotations. Utah will be in second. Now Saturday, it's the NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championship, 1 p.m. Eastern on ABC. For more information, visit ncaa.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. Kyla Bryant now set to go competing as an individual. What a spectacular gymnast she is, Kathy, of course, from Stanford. We watched them at the NCAA Regional. This is a team that really improved enormously this year.
You should have had to buy a special ticket to see this routine. This one is so fun, so entertaining.
Stanford was 14th this year in their rankings, up 38 spots from their ranking last year. What a year they had under Tabitha
regionals they had.
Yeah. Tabitha Yim, the former Stanford grad, the head coach there.
Big full twisting double back, and boy, did she stick that.
Wow, the graduate student from Athens, Georgia. Olympian Jade Carey, the #1 all-arounder in the U.S. right now on beam, competing as an individual. Represents Oregon State.
She has probably been the most consistent all-arounder in the country. Fantastic amplitude on those leaps. A little balance adjustment and did not make this connection on beam. Jade Carey usually does that front aerial into the back handspring layout step out. Look at that tuck double back on floor. Wow, what a routine. Good for her.
We're just seeing spectacular performances from these individuals, and I just love the fact that even though they're competing here as individuals, they've been embraced by the teams they're rotating with, supporting them every bit of the way.
Finishes strong with the gainer full and a stuck landing.
Kathy.
I know she would have liked to have made that connection and did her most perfect routine, but it was another good one.
Coming into this meet, she'd hit all 44 routines this year, and 42 of the 44 are 9.9 or better. Jade Carey, just a freshman, is a machine. Now, Alabama did terrific on floor in that rotation. They closed a little gap on Utah. They're currently in third, and their head coach, Dana Duckworth, is with Sam now.
Yeah, thanks, Bart. Dana, you guys were on fire on floor. What did you think from the meet so far?
I think that we have come into a fight, and we are in round 3. We are headed to round 4, and we are going to have to literally just rally together and do what they're capable of doing. You know, not put any more pressure on ourselves, except just be free and do what they're capable of. And so it's continuing to be together as one team, one heartbeat, and doing the best they can.
Your team is ranked 5th on vault, an amazing vault team with lots of difficulty. What do they need to do there to get the job done?
The key is we got to do great amplitude and great landings and really sell it. And they're totally capable of that. I believe in this team. I believe in everything they've worked for. And we just got to let them do them and try not to be anything different than just Alabama.
Good luck, Coach.
Thanks. Roll Tide.
Several highlights in that rotation, especially from Oklahoma on the beam. Reagan Smith was their final competitor with a 9.925, but boy, incredible performance here from the super senior Carly Woodard.
Just the rock of that team, and Reagan Smith put together one of her finest balance beam performances. Exactly what she wanted to do right here in this moment. And Utah on the bar. Sage Thompson, a big score with that very unique combination of difficulty with the in-bar Ginger and just the most milked landing of the competition so far. She was showing off the stick.
So Utah will move on in this next rotation, going to the 4th and final rotation, and they're only ahead of Alabama, who closed the gap to .1375. Remember, the top 2 teams only go to the championship on Saturday.
It's really cool to be a part of a team that has such an amazing legacy.
Once again, it's Utah alone at the top.
We've made it to 46 consecutive national championships. We're the only team to do so. It's something that we get to carry on and continue to perform.
I'm just a small part of it, but so honored to be a part of it, and it's part of who I am.
The pressure goes on and every year, and it just builds, but I think that's kind of what sets us apart.
Utah, the best score in postseason history.
The biggest thing that we try to do is be our best versions of ourselves, and if we can do the very best, we know the outcome's going to be adding to the legacy.
And Utah warming up on the beam as they'll be there in the 4th and final rotation. Get this, they're in 2nd place. They're the #1 team in the country here. And it was at the regionals a couple of weeks ago where they needed that consistency to advance to this national championship. They punched their 46th straight ticket to the nationals after a 3rd gymnast fell. Kara Aker in the 5th spot scored a 10. And Miley O'Keefe, all she needed to do was hit, but she did more than that. Perfect 10 of her own for Utah to advance to today's semifinals here in Fort Worth. This meet is extremely close. Look at how close Alabama is behind Utah. Remember, just 2 of these 4 teams will advance to the championship on Saturday. Comes down to this next rotation.
Up our sleeve, magic, break me off. So come alive and step out of the dark. We got that magic, special sauce. Now shine on, cause we're made from the stars. We got that magic.
And welcome back to the National Championships. Bart Connor along with Kathy Johnson-Clark and Sam Pesek. Here is the meet summary. It's been Oklahoma and Utah as predicted by their national rankings coming into this session. But get this, after the 3rd rotation, Alabama closed the gap. They're only .1375 behind Utah. Just the top 2 teams advanced to Saturday's championship. And we'll have tonight semifinal number 2. It'll be on ESPN2 of the NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships here from Fort Worth, Texas. The top 2 teams from each semifinal advance to the national championship on Saturday at 1 p.m. on ABC. And man, we got some superstars in the house. Such a thrill to have our stream team with us. And you talk about legends in gymnastics. There's John Roethlisberger, Olivia Karras, Bridget Sloan, and Ashley Miles-Grieg. They're all covering our stream team on the ESPN app. You can watch every channel. You can watch every routine from your favorite team if you tune into the ESPN app. It's also available in Spanish. Buenos dias, amigos. All right, in this 4th and final rotation, it's Alabama on the vault, and you see in your upper left, that's Shalyn Olsen, the Canadian Olympian, set to go. 2-time world finalist on that event. On the bars, in your upper right, that is Minnesota. Haley Remling will be up first. And the bottom left, it'll be Beam, and that's Utah, the #1 team in the country, and that's Amelie Morgan, the British Olympian, who will lead them off.
Quick look up the top left. Double twisting Yurchenko and a stick for Alabama. That is huge. The most difficult vault in the competition, and she gets the landing.
Oklahoma on the floor in this rotation. Belle Johnson leading it off for the Sooners there.
This fight for the 2nd spot begins here. Triple series. Amelie Morgan on beam. To say this team is impressive under pressure is an understatement. The judges look for difficult acrobatic elements in series, dance elements, the required full turn.
Early this season, Utah went against Oklahoma out in Utah and beat the Sooners head-to-head.
You jump into the side aerial full. Second vault, oh, slightly under-rotated. Jordan
That's
Paradise.
Kaylee Quinn from Alabama. Shalyn Olsen with that double twister, Kathy, led them off with a solid 9.875.
Kaylee Quinn's under rotation, and that step back will be a fairly sizable deduction.
Remember, Alabama just behind Utah by .1375 coming into this 4th and final rotation. They'll need stuck landings because Utah, the #1 team in the country, is on beam. If Alabama hopes to advance to Saturday's championship, they need to drill those landings right now. Oklahoma seems to be comfortable in the lead, and they're on floor, which is also an outstanding event for them. They're 5th in the country. So Oklahoma in the driver's seat as far as advancing. Really, the meet now comes down to Alabama and Utah to see which of these two teams will be the qualifier from this session, along with the Sooners, assuming everything stays where it is.
And both teams have the gymnastics it takes.
Jordan Paradise for the
Another
Crimson Tide.
1.5 here. Oh, a big step forward. They are giving away those landing deductions.
Alabama using 6 10.0 start value vaults in that final rotation, hoping the degree of difficulty will help bolster their scores. Grace McCallum now on beam.
Watch this difficult turn. It's a wolf turn, twice around. Beautifully executed.
Amelie Morgan led off Utah with a superb 9-9 leadoff score.
As I said, this team is phenomenal under pressure. A handspring layout step out. Notice how she firmly pressed those arms down. Switch leap, just a little cautious on that first leap. We've talked about these Olympians coming in to compete in college. There has been no break for them. The pressure of the Olympic Games was immense. They went on tour, on the GOAT Tour, and right into college. And Grace has come up with a really important routine under pressure. Well
2
done.
hits for the Utah Utes. They need 5 solid scores here out of 6 to advance to Saturday's championship. 2 hit routines so far. Lily Hudson for Alabama on the vault.
She did a 1.5 twist and very awkward on that landing. I was afraid she might have turned her ankle just a little bit. She was slightly off to the side, and unfortunately that'll be a deduction on the landing.
Alabama not getting the landings they need over there. Their high score is Shalyn Olson's leadoff, 9.875. The scores for Quinn in Paradise in the 9.7 range. It'll be hard to catch Utah on beam unless Alabama drills some vaults and gets a little help from Utah in this 4th and final rotation. Let's go down to Sam.
Yeah, Abby Paulson is a 3-time regular season All-American, but at the beginning of the season, she actually struggled on beam, which is her signature event. She had some aches and pains, but her mistakes were actually getting to her head because she was trying too hard to be perfect. Guys, she even scored a 10 her freshman year. Assistant coach Carly Dockendorf suggested that she should sing Taylor Swift in her head while competing because she's a huge Taylor Swift fan, and it's working. So during her routine, she's going to be singing our song to distract herself. After she started doing this, she hasn't scored lower than a 9.875 and has even recorded back-to-back 9.975s.
I love it, Sam. It's whatever it takes. She does a difficult side aerial to lay out, step out. I read that same story and I just loved hearing it because you can get too much in your head. There's that fine line between making something happen and letting it happen, especially when you're an extraordinary beam worker, naturally.
Just a couple of weeks ago at the NCAA Regional, she was taken out of the lineup because she had back spasms, and great to see her competing on 3 of the 4 events for Utah here today.
And seeing this confidence is everything. Another phenomenal performance for Utah on the beam.
3 hit routines. They need just 5 big scores there to hold off Alabama. Lexi Graber coming after Luisa Blanco. Blanco got their high score, 9.9125. They need a big vault now.
And she can deliver. It's a 1.5 twist.
Oh, nice.
Oh, she fought so hard for that landing. You have to take that risk when you're going for a stick, which she needed to do. Sometimes you can get slightly ahead of yourself or block a little right as you land to try to nail it.
Dana Duckworth, I think she sees the writing on the wall here for Alabama. 3 scores in the 9-7 range. Only one 9-9 plus score. That was for Luisa Blanco. So if Alabama is to advance, they're going to need Utah to struggle on beam, and that seems unlikely, Kathy.
It has not happened. It happened once this season, maybe twice early in the season, but they have gotten themselves in such a groove, and they have practiced under pressure.
Minnesota's Anna Loper on bars as the score just comes in for Lexi Graber, the 9-8 on vault for the Crimson Tide in their anchor spot. On beam on the right for Utah. Crystal Issa coming after Abby Paulson notched a 9.9375.
The experience that Crystal Issa brings to this team and in this situation. Triple series, amazed. Okay, for her to cover that, she stepped forward instead of back. Did not give up a balance break. But the slight adjustment she had to make on the fly, that's when I say life is balance beam. It's what you have to do in life, and try not to overcorrect or panic in any situation. And there was zero panic. She got right back into the routine. What a tough, clutch performance.
Remember, you hear the music in the background for the Oklahoma Sooners on the floor. They are in the lead, but you will not miss any routines today. If you go to the ESPN app, you'll be able to see every single routine as it happens.
Keep in mind, the whole goal is it's not to win this semifinal. It is to earn those 2 coveted top spots to advance to the national championships on Saturday.
Tiare Salas for Minnesota on the bars. And you see in the bottom right, you see the score there for Alabama. That's a 197-1. The reason they're in the lead right now is they were on vault and all their vaults are complete. So that is the score that both Oklahoma and Utah need to surpass if they're going to advance to Saturday's championship.
Minnesota has impressive bar scores leading into this routine.
Nice.
Nice move, exactly. Love to see the oh no, but then overcooks that handstand.
That's unlucky for Salas. Minnesota 7th in the country on bars. Not what they needed at this moment.
Kara Aker on beam.
Score for her teammate just before her, Crystal Issa, 9.875. Utah is just sublime on this event.
And every routine is unique and special in its own way. Kara Aker is one of the most experienced under pressure balance beam performers, has competed at the world-class level on the international stage. High level of difficult, side aerial to a back layout step out.
Remember, it was 2 weeks ago at the regional that Aker and Miley O'Keefe scored 2 perfect 10s to round out that competition to secure their berth into this championship. Aker gets a 9-4 here, would secure a spot for Utah in the championship.
Beautiful opening tumbling run for Jordan Bowers for Oklahoma on floor.
Bowers coming after the second straight 9.9 and 3.75 for both Fletcher and Sievers for the Sooners.
Side aerial, top full, and then another. As I said at the beginning of the show, that they would probably find themselves in the driver's seat on an event that could be nerve-wracking for most teams.
Good point.
But not Utah. We have seen them perform under pressure immaculately. Well, Oklahoma has definitely made a statement here in these semifinals and put everyone on notice. They are definitely in the hunt for that national championship title.
Interesting psychology here when you think about it. You kind of want to save a little for Saturday, but if you save too much, you're sitting in the stands on Saturday.
Those days are gone, Bart. No, you got to compete big and compete smart in the semifinals. You have to secure that spot first because nothing is inevitable.
Few teams have navigated the postseason better than the Oklahoma Sooners over the last decade. Lexi Ramler waiting to perform on bars for Minnesota. What a year they've had. And one of the great stories of the collegiate season are these teams that have really resurfaced as true contenders. As you see, the score comes in for Kara Aker, 9-9-3-7-5 for Utah on beam. 6 times Minnesota has been to the national championship. This is the first time they've been here back-to-back. They are not going to advance to the championship. However, Jenny Hansen should be quite proud of her team. Miley O'Keefe now.
Watch this beautiful mount on beam. The shapes that she shows off with gorgeous flexibility, toe point.
No score for Utah on beam is lower than a 9.875. See the score for Jordan Bowers come in for Sooners on floor.
Side aerial to layout step out. She had a little balance check.
Reagan Smith will wrap it up for the Sooners on floor after Jordan Bowers scored a 9.9625.
To front layout, well executed. And I'm just imagining her mother up in the stands doing this choreography with her. She loves to do the dance while her daughter performs. So, and a gorgeous routine, not the perfectly flawless routine we have seen. She had that very, very slight balance check, but an extraordinary clutch performance again. Fun performance, and she did her absolute best trying to absorb that final landing. It had a little bounce to it, but you could see her just trying to keep those toes on the floor.
Tom Haley and the entire coaching staff over there for the Sooners very comfortable with their effort today here in the semifinal, which will easily move them through to the championship round on Saturday afternoon. 1 p.m. Eastern. Utah superb on beam. You can see the team scores in your bottom right. Oklahoma already over a 198.0625. That's even before the final score comes in for Reagan Smith. So it is official then. Oklahoma and Utah will advance from this semifinal to Saturday's championship. Look at that, 9-9-3-7-5. 2 in a row for Kara Aker and Miley O'Keefe for Utah. Alabama with a 197.1. Their season comes to an end. Here is your Olympic gold medalist on the floor, Jade Carey, competing here as an individual. You see her average. 3rd in the NCAA on this event. Remember, she's competing for individual championship in the all-around and on the floor. Those titles will be rewarded tonight after session number 2 when all the individuals compete.
Check out this difficulty on this pass. Everybody in the arena is excited to see the Olympic floor champion do her double-double. Ooh, a big step back. I think she stayed in bounds. We both looked to see if the flag went up.
She needs a 9.8125 in this routine to have the top all-around score from this session.
Front full to front and lay out in a beautiful zone out of it. Nice elevation on those leaps, very clean in the split position. Casual, very open, tuck double back. There's that control on that landing. There's your top all-around performer in this session. How exciting to see the Olympic champion on the floor exercise.
Oklahoma and Utah will advance out of this semifinal number one. By the way, for Minnesota, Lexi Ramler's 9.95 allows Minnesota to surge into third of four teams. Alabama fourth here in semifinal number one. Don't go away. ESPN2, the semifinal number 2 of the NCAA Women's Gymnastics National Championships here from Fort Worth, Texas. The top 2 teams from each semifinal advance to the championship on Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern on ABC. Top 2 teams advancing from semifinal number 1. Based on their performances this afternoon, it is the Oklahoma Sooners and the Utah Utes, and Utah is led by Tom Farden as he's with Sam Pesek now.
Thanks, Bart. Tom, congratulations on earning a spot to compete for a national title. What'd you think of the competition today?
I felt like the first 2 events that they came out and they were just like on fire. We took a little dip on that bar rotation. I think they got more in the tank for Saturday, and then couldn't be proud of our beam team to lock it up like that. It was a total team effort. Super proud of them.
Going into beam, what was the message to the team after a few mistakes on bars?
The message was on bars. I said, hey, I think we were playing it a little safe, and I think we were trying to be too perfect on bars. You got to let it loose on balance beam, and that's exactly what they did.
So you think your team is ready here? You think they're ready? We're ready! Bart, Kathy, I think they're ready to go. If only it was Saturday already.
Well, 46 times they have competed at the national championships. This is one of the great programs in the history of women's sports, not just gymnastics. It'll be great to see them contend for a title. So here are your brackets. Semifinal 1 is complete. Oklahoma and Utah advance to Saturday's championship round. Later tonight, of course, it'll be Florida, Michigan, Auburn, and Missouri. Of course, Auburn features the Olympic gold medalist in the all-around Suni Lee. Has been a game changer in women's collegiate gymnastics. They'll be tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2 to see the final 2 teams that will advance to the championship. A thrilling afternoon here in Fort Worth. We'll come back and wrap this one up from Fort Worth in a moment.
Presents 50-50, honoring 50 years of Title IX. UCLA's Caitlin Ohashi catapulted women's gymnastics into the national spotlight with her viral floor routine in 2019. She wasn't the first or the last gymnast to go viral, but she had the biggest impact, racking up millions of views across multiple social media platforms overnight. Ohashi landed appearances on national television talk shows, commercials, and an ESPY for the best viral moment. In the 3 years since Ohashi broke the internet, women's college gymnastics is now the #1 most engaged sport on ESPN's social platforms.
There is Tom Farden and KJ Kindler. They will go and battle it out at Saturday's championship. The top 2 teams from semifinal 1, only 0.4 of a point separate those 2 of the great programs in the history of college gymnastics. The winner of the all-around in semifinal number 1 is Olympic gold medalist Jade Carey. She's with Sam now.
Yeah, no surprises here. Jade, amazing in the all-around competition. You told me that you like to compete relaxed, but what fired you up about your own performance here today?
I think I started off really strong on vault, so that got me excited and like got the momentum going, and then I was really proud of my bar routine, and then since I didn't have my teammates here, it was really nice to be with Oklahoma, and I can't thank them enough for all their love and support today.
Thanks, Jade.
Thank you.
Jade Carey never scored below 39.65 in the all-around all season. That's exactly what she got today. She is essentially the leader in the clubhouse. Remember, semifinal number 2 at 6 p.m. Eastern today will determine the final 2 teams that will advance. Once again, congratulations to Oklahoma and Utah advancing to Saturday's championship. Coming up next, it's The Point. Remember, 6 p.m. Eastern tonight, we'll be back for semifinal 2 of the NCAA Gymnastics Championship. For Kathy Johnson-Clark and Sam Peshek, I'm Bart Connor. So long. It was a great day of gymnastics, and we hope you tune in tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern for semifinal number 2.